Josh Allen just walked away from the brand that has defined NFL quarterback culture since before most fans were alive. And the name he signed with instead is one that nobody saw coming. That move from the biggest swoosh in sports to a brand that has never held an NFL on-field license is exactly what we are breaking down today. NFL MVP Josh Allen is leaving Nike to sign with New Balance. That sentence alone was enough to shut down every sports forum, sneaker community, and football comment section on the internet when it dropped in September 2025. It was not a rumor, it was not a leak, it was an announcement, direct, personal, and deliberate, and it landed like a shockwave across the sports world. NFL MVP Josh Allen had left Nike to sign an endorsement deal with New Balance. The Buffalo Bills quarterback announced the news in a letter to his hometown of Firebaugh, California. Not a press release, not a generic brand statement pushed through a PR agency. A letter, written by Josh Allen himself, addressed to the town that made him. That choice of format said everything about why this deal was different from every other quarterback endorsement in recent memory. Since entering the NFL in 2018, Allen had been a Nike athlete, wearing the iconic swoosh throughout his rapid rise from an unheralded prospect to one of the league's most dominant quarterbacks. 7 full seasons with the brand that basically invented what it means to be a star NFL quarterback in the modern era. Nike had LeBron, Nike had Jordan, Nike had a stranglehold on the imagery of elite sport for decades. And Josh Allen, the reigning NFL MVP, the man who just signed the second richest quarterback contract in NFL history, walked out of that building and went somewhere else entirely. Josh Allen was one of Nike's biggest signings of the last 10 years, securing the young quarterback just 3 years into his NFL tenure and watching him grow into the game's best player. That context matters. Nike did not just pick up a promising player. They invested in Allen during the years when he was still figuring out his game, when the critics were still loud, and when Buffalo was still considered a football afterthought. They bet on him early, and he still left. Buffalo Bills star quarterback and reigning NFL MVP, Josh Allen made a major move off the field. He announced he had left Nike to sign an endorsement deal with New Balance, marking one of the most high-profile athlete signings for the Massachusetts-based brand. The announcement itself was no standard press release. Allen didn't send a statement through his agent or post a logo drop on Instagram. Allen shared the news in a heartfelt letter addressed to his hometown of Firebaugh, California. A community, he says, shaped his identity and laid the foundation for his career. The letter made rounds across every sports outlet within hours. It was personal, it was rooted, and it reframed the entire deal in a way nobody saw coming. Along with the letter he penned, images of Allen sporting a New Balance Letterman jacket, shirt and tie, and sweatpants were also released. With the endorsement's promo, the look was unmistakable. No swoosh, no 3 stripes, just the iconic N. New Balance snagging Allen away from Nike and Williams from footwear free agency is a major victory for the brand that continues to grow its presence in American football. And for Nike, the company that had backed Allen from day one, it was a loss that stung far more than a roster move. This was a statement. Allen had been a Nike athlete since he joined the league in 2018. The swoosh had faced headwinds in recent years as innovation slowed and sales declined, losing the reigning NFL MVP right in the middle of that rough patch. That wasn't just bad timing. That was a signal that the entire landscape of athletic endorsements was shifting, and Josh Allen was leading the charge. Before we get into why Allen made this move, we have to understand the full picture of where he stood financially when he signed it, because here's the thing that makes this endorsement story even more striking. Josh Allen didn't need the money. On March 9, 2025, Allen signed a 6-year contract extension with the Bills, worth $330 million, of which $250 million was guaranteed. The largest guaranteed money ever given to an NFL player at the time of signing. Let that land for a moment. The largest guaranteed contract in NFL history. And this came just months before he turned around and signed a brand deal with a company that most people associate with dad's shoes and running trails. On March 9, 2025, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills agreed to a 6-year, $330 million contract that replaces the 4 years, $129.5 million that was in place. Allen secured $147 million fully guaranteed at signing with the new deal, including a $56.754 million signing bonus and $58 million cash in year 1. To put that in context, Allen made more in year 1 of this deal than most NFL players will earn in their entire careers. Allen's new 6-year, $330 million extension includes $250 million guaranteed, surpassing Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson, $230 million in guarantees signed in 2022, for the most guaranteed money given to an NFL player. And yet, even with all that, Allen reportedly wasn't trying to squeeze every cent out of the deal. Allen could have advocated for more money from the new deal, but instead agreed to one that allows the team to continue building around him, to fulfill his ultimate goal of bringing a title to Buffalo. It didn't seem like, from my perspective, I was taking a whole lot less, Allen said. But the way I make sense of it, when you start getting these fairly big numbers throughout the entire league, it's weird to say this, but what is $5 million more going to do for my life that I can't already do right now? That one quote tells you everything about Josh Allen's mindset. This is a man who has never been purely chasing dollars. Allen got another big payday this past weekend, but the reigning NFL MVP wasn't looking to reset the market. Instead, he hoped his new deal would open up salary cap space in the short term, so that the Bills could go shopping, and his on-field performance. It had earned every dollar of it. The three-time Pro Bowler is coming off a sensational season, in which he threw for 3,731 yards and 28 touchdowns, while rushing for 531 yards and 12 more scores, becoming the first NFL player to tally 40-plus total touchdowns in 5 consecutive seasons. 5 consecutive seasons. That is a record that had never been done in the history of the National Football League. He was named NFL Most Valuable Player in 2024 and has also received 4 Pro Bowl and 2 second-team All-Pro selections. Allen is one of the league's biggest stars and has led the Bills to the playoffs for 6 straight years. So when Josh Allen walks into a room with New Balance and says he wants to partner with them, they don't just get an athlete. They get the most decorated player in the NFL at the peak of his powers, locked into Buffalo through 2030, and apparently more interested in community impact than in maximizing his next payday. On March 4th, 2025, Allen signed a multi-year media deal with Skydance Sports, where he will develop scripted, unscripted, and branded content for the company. The endorsement portfolio was already stacking up. In addition to his endorsement deal with New Balance, Allen is also endorsed by Pepsi, Buffalo Wild Wings, New Era, and Snickers. And just days before revealing his New Balance partnership, Allen also announced a role as Therabody's first ever performance advisor, adding another major endorsement to his growing portfolio. This isn't just a quarterback, this is a business. Every great story has a foundation. For Josh Allen's New Balance deal, that foundation isn't a boardroom in Boston or a locker room in Buffalo. It's a small farming town in California's Central Valley that most people have never heard of. Josh Allen, who had been a Nike athlete since his rookie year in 2018, announced the change through a personal letter addressed to his hometown of Firebaugh, California. And in that letter, he didn't talk about shoe technology or revenue projections. He talked about who he was before he was famous. Growing up in the small farming town, Allen recalled there were no elite quarterback camps or private trainers, only a tight-knit community with heart. No quarterback development academy, no personal coaches, no state-of-the-art facilities, just a kid with raw talent and a community that believed in him. He wrote directly to the people of Firebaugh with words that hit differently when you know his story. Firebaugh didn't have quarterback camps or private trainers. We had heart, we had community. That sentiment wasn't marketing copy. Firebaugh is not only where Allen grew up, but also where he first trained and developed his passion for football. It shaped every quality that makes him the player he is. The toughness, the accountability, the fire that burns in fourth quarters when other quarterbacks fold. And here's the part that sets this deal completely apart from every other sneaker contract in the league. As part of the deal, New Balance will support youth sports in Allen's hometown of Firebaugh, California. He didn't just sign a check and move on. He made Firebaugh a line item in the contract. As part of the partnership, New Balance has pledged to fund Firebaugh's youth sports programs, ensuring future generations have the same opportunities to discover and develop their passions. The kid who grew up without access to the resources that most top NFL prospects take for granted is now making sure the next generation of kids from Firebaugh won't have to choose between playing sports and affording them. Allen stated, "We are making a commitment to Firebaugh to help fund its community sports program, in the hopes of providing access to sports, regardless of ability to pay, to help young athletes access sports and chase their dreams." In his message, Allen emphasized the importance of family, community, and authenticity, values he sees reflected in New Balance's culture. And that wasn't accidental language. Allen wrote, "I'm proud to share I'm joining the New Balance family, a brand that, like Fireball, is built on family, community, and authenticity." Allen's decision to reveal the deal through a letter to Fireball reflects how deeply tied he remains to his roots. This is a man who, after signing the largest guaranteed contract in NFL history, chose to announce his biggest brand deal by writing a letter home. Not to ESPN, not to the NFL Network, home. Allen is a fourth-generation farmer and has invested in his family's farm, the Allen Ranch, to plant and cultivate 1,000 hectares of pistachio trees over the next decade. The roots aren't just metaphorical, they are literal. Allen's identity is cemented in the Central Valley in a way that never changes, regardless of what his bank account says. While terms of the New Balance deal have not been disclosed, the inclusion of a direct investment into Fireball's youth sports programs highlights how athlete brand partnerships are evolving. Deals are no longer just about shoes and jerseys. They're about community impact, shared values, and authenticity. And that evolution, Allen didn't just participate in it. He helped define it. To understand why this deal matters beyond Josh Allen's personal story, you have to understand what New Balance has been doing behind the scenes, and just how deliberate their move into the NFL has been. New Balance re-entered the football performance market in April 2024 by unveiling new cleats and announcing the signing of rookie Marvin Harrison Jr., a highly touted receiver, fresh out of Ohio State, selected 4th overall in the 2024 draft. New Balance didn't wait for Harrison to prove himself in the league. They locked him in before he ever played a professional snap, planting a flag in the NFL's talent pipeline. But Harrison Jr. was just the beginning of a calculated strategy. Players could wear New Balance cleats, but had to conceal the logo. Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour are currently the only brands with an on-field licensing agreement. New Balance was operating without the full licensing power that its competitors had. While Allen looks to be the most important signing in New Balance football history, he is not the only part of their plan. It looks like Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams will also join the Boston-based brand this season. Williams has worn New Balance cleats on the field throughout the summer. Think about what that roster looks like. The reigning NFL MVP in Buffalo, a generational wide receiver prospect in Arizona, and one of the most hyped young quarterbacks in the league in Chicago. After going first in the 2024 NFL Draft, Williams never publicly partnered with a footwear sponsor. Adidas, Nike, and Jordan Brand all announced their draft classes, but Williams apparently held out. The fact that New Balance ended up being where Williams landed speaks to the brand's growing appeal among players who value something beyond just the biggest logo. Off the football field, New Balance, which has rapidly expanded its athlete roster, also represents other big-name stars such as tennis player Coco Gauff, MLB's Shohei Ohtani, and WNBA's Cameron Brink. The portfolio reads like a who's who of the most marketable athletes in every major sport. This isn't a running shoe company that stumbled into football. This is a brand executing a decade-long plan with surgical precision. By securing the endorsement of one of football's brightest stars, the brand strengthens its presence in the NFL at a time when it's positioning itself as a challenger to legacy sportswear giants. And the timing of Allen's deal is impossible to ignore. The swoosh has faced headwinds in recent years as innovation slowed and sales declined. Nike, the brand that has owned the NFL's visual identity for decades, entered this moment with its armor cracked, and New Balance walked straight through the gap. Despite facing an uphill battle in the football market, New Balance appears to be on the verge of a major win by adding the NFL MVP to its growing roster. The uphill battle is real. The licensing restrictions mean Allen can't simply lace up New Balance cleats on Sunday afternoons. One logistical hurdle is that New Balance currently does not hold an NFL on-field licensing agreement, meaning Allen may face restrictions wearing New Balance cleats during official games unless that changes. But here's the part that should have Nike's boardroom nervous. With Allen's influence and the brand's aggressive growth, a partnership with the NFL seems plausible down the road. The moment New Balance secures that on-field licensing deal, and with Allen and Williams as its faces, the pressure to make that happen is enormous. The floodgates open. New Balance snagging Allen away from Nike and Williams from footwear free agency is a major victory for the brand that continues to grow its presence in American football. The game is already changing. Whether the NFL's licensing structure catches up to that reality is just a matter of time. Strip away the brand logos, the contract numbers, and the Letterman jackets, and what you're really looking at is a story about power. Specifically, the power that the biggest athletes in professional sports now carry, and how they're using it in ways that go far beyond the game itself. As the team's starting quarterback, Allen has led Buffalo to a total of 7 playoff appearances, 5 consecutive division titles, and 2 conference championship game berths. He has been the fulcrum of an entire franchise's identity for the better part of a decade, and the rewards for that consistency have been historic. Allen's extension will keep him in Buffalo through the 2030 season, and is worth a record-breaking $330 million, with $250 million guaranteed. The extension keeps Allen with the team through 2030. Loyalty rewarded, commitment made. And then, operating from that position of total financial and professional security, Allen turned around and made a brand decision that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with meaning. Josh Allen's transition from Nike to New Balance is more than just a sponsorship swap. It represents a fresh narrative about community roots, authenticity in brand partnerships, and the evolving dynamics of athlete endorsements in sports culture. That narrative is resonating. Allen's endorsement will carry plenty of credibility and no doubt drive interest from a younger generation of athletes, exploring their options beyond the usual suspects. The next wave of NFL players is watching this. The kid who gets drafted in 2026 and has 6 major brands fighting for their signature is going to look at what Josh Allen did and understand that the decision doesn't have to be about the biggest check. It can be about the right fit. By securing the endorsement of one of football's brightest stars, the brand strengthens its presence in the NFL, at a time when it's positioning itself as a challenger to legacy sportswear giants. For Allen, it's an opportunity to align with a company that not only believes in his talent, but also in the values of community that continue to define him. Allen was also featured prominently in HBO's Hard Knocks training camp with the Buffalo Bills, which wrapped up its finale earlier this week, giving fans an intimate look at Allen's leadership and personality. The audience that watches that kind of behind-the-scenes content is the same audience that now sees Allen wearing New Balance from head to toe on his way into Highmark Stadium. Brand alignment doesn't get more authentic than that. And here's the verdict on the title. Josh Allen didn't leave the NFL, not even close. Quarterback Josh Allen agreed to a 6-year deal worth $330 million with $250 million guaranteed. That keeps him in Buffalo through 2030. He is the Bills, in every sense of the phrase. What he left, and what makes this story genuinely significant, is the brand infrastructure that defined him since the day he stepped into the league. 7 years with Nike, gone. 1 letter to Fireball later, and the entire endorsement conversation around the NFL's best player looked completely different. As the 2025 NFL season kicks off, Allen won't just be leading the Bills on the field. He'll also be helping lead New Balance into a new era of football. The swoosh lost the reigning MVP. The N gained an icon, is now the beating heart of the most talked about endorsement deal in the NFL. Josh Allen didn't just sign a shoe deal, he signed a statement.